Hi folks, Rick here. Welcome to my channel. Alright, just got done racing the Crossroads Big River race here this Sunday. This happened to be one of those national qualifiers for the amateur championship, so we had a lot of people show up there. Pretty good day at all. It was very, very cold. Thankfully the sun came out, took the edge off, so that was nice. Bike ran perfect, didn't have any issues there. This is my first one out of the gate this year, so that was nice to see. This track is a sand track, so it's not my favorite. It's very whooped out, and you just can't get any speed going. And I love fast tracks, but that's how it goes. I've raced here before. You know, it's a nice place and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good day overall. Again, I was glad nothing happened with the bike. I didn't get a chance to do any testing with it. I just loaded it up out of the garage and brought it here, and you just hope for the best, hope the brakes work, all that kind of stuff. Nothing falls off, but everything worked perfectly. Didn't have any issues. I raced Super Senior this one and got last in class by a mile. With everyone come out for this national, you know, everyone's all of a sudden a C-class rider, and so I got the guy who won my race there. In fact, I think the first couple, 2 or 3 people in my class there lapped me twice as C-class people, so can't do much about that, but that's okay. I came out to have a great day. It was a fun day. Glad I got a chance to go out and race. Glad nothing happened with the bike. Everything went good, and now just gonna go home and wash this bad boy and get ready for the next one. So hope you enjoy the video. Bye.
Alright folks, I'm gonna go ahead and try narrating this one again. I'm at the Crossroads. Unfortunately my GoPro died after the first lap. I don't know if it was just too cold, the battery, or if I got seasick from all these whoops, but anyway, it's just going to be a one-lap race for this one. This track's a sand track. It's super whooped out. It's also super rut. It's not my favorite, but it's how it goes. So here's a start. I get a pretty decent start, about mid-pack, I think. We get some tight corners coming up here, and I've got a lot of fast people in this group here, so I'll eventually kind of pull over a little bit here and kind of let some of them by, but there's a bad accident coming up here from a previous group there, so I'm just kind of slowing down here anyway. So I got a few more people behind me here trying to get by, so I'll let them go, and I'll just take off and ride my race. And we're going to get into some really tight stuff coming up here. I don't want to hold all these guys up. So here we go into the woods. We're going to drop down a little bit. It just gets really tight right off the bat, bottleneck. People run into trees. The right is underneath that little log. I couldn't get underneath there, I didn't think, so I just snuck my way through here. Guy to the right of me kind of went underneath that log, but doesn't look like to be a direct path back on the course. Kind of keeping an eye on him. Here he comes up. To come up this hill, there's like a ditch on the other side of this thing you really got to watch out on. Then we're kind of right back out here where I parked. Here's my silver truck right there on the right. This is a bad section here as well. We'll get into a bottleneck. It is just super tight. I should have right here went to the right and went out on that track, but I didn't. And this would have been another opportunity. I should have just went right here and went around, but I didn't know how far up this thing went. I didn't pre-check the track, so I'm just following everybody. There's 2 paths that go in between 2 trees, and people are just getting wedged in there. And then somebody goes through, then the next person gets wedged. So now we're stuck here. This guy right in front of me finally is gonna get tired of sitting there, and he's going to make a run through the bushes there on the right, and I'm going to follow him there. I should have did that earlier. You can see everybody out there kind of go through those bushes. They're already going around. That's what we should have done. Guy here thankfully cuts the thing for me. So here we go. Now we're back at racing again. Got the next group behind me now. They're going to try passing, so I'll let some of these fast guys go again. Yeah, this race isn't my kind of race to start with. It's just they do a great job with this track. The Crossroads team always does here. I like faster tracks. This is absolutely the opposite of a fast track. So really out here for a shakedown and making sure my bike runs good. And thankfully, I didn't have any issues there. I guess the one issue I got here is I forgot to put some tape on my thumb throttle. I got a metal throttle, and it is just ice cold burning my thumb, and it got sore after a while, but it went away. So here we go. Down in a little bit of sand section here. It gets really ruddy. Right to the right's actually a starting line. We're not going to go through there. They bypass us there on the first lap. Then we got a little bit of a straight section here. So, again, I didn't know how long it was. It's a little rough, but at least you get a little bit of speed there. Go through the gear, get some air going through the radiator. Although it's really cold out. So a lot of head ducking in this area. You look off to the left, there's a lot of water. There's a lot of water on this property. And the odd thing about it is when that water gets in the sand, for whatever reason, it's literally bottomless. It's like quicksand in this thing here. And you go through just a little bit of water and you just can't believe how far you sink into that thing. And it gets to, there's a couple of really bad problem spots on this one. I didn't have any issues, but you just really got to watch out. So here's another really tight section again here. You're just trying to pick and choosing. I'm not sure if this was a new area they cut, but there's a lot of limbs and stuff you're hitting, a lot of stuff cut down on the ground, and it's just really rough. We're kind of right up next to the road here, as you can see. Back up to on top of that ridge there next to the water as well. But yeah, this area here, this isn't so bad. It's just tight though. You really can't get, up here again you see some people stuck. Just a lot of people clipping trees. There's just no room for air on this stuff whatsoever. I got some people behind me here, so I'm trying to squeeze through that here, but watch, I'll take a look back, and one of the guys behind me actually gets up in the trees right here. If you look back, there's somebody else right up there. It's just this whole section's like that. Come down this area here. These are like 1.5 perfectly round rocks. It's really kind of odd looking. But watch this guy up here. He hit something, then he's starting to tip over. Got the old.
You okay?
So yeah, thankfully he wasn't taking a header there. Got back on and everything went right. He'll pass me here again a little bit. So here's starting the whoops, and this gets really bad. And I'm not really sure what happened right here. Actually, I'm staring. Looks like the guy might have had some change, but you got this guy here off. You got another person up there. And I'm trying to get around these guys. I'm not sure what's happened. I don't see anybody who was hurt right here, but so I'm trying to get back on the track. I got that. I should have just probably ran over that stake, or the other guys over there going around. I just didn't know how far to go around, but back on here. These whoops sections right here, you really can't see how deep and how bad. There are some of these whoops that are so deep and steep that your bumper almost hits the other side of them. And some of the really faster, talented people there kind of blitz those things and just scrape across the top. That isn't me, so I just got to sit here and take it. And man, it's brutal, and a lot of other people too. It's just it's difficult to get any speed, difficult to get any passes. You just got to take those whoops, and boy, it wears on you again. This section right here, I don't know what was up with this hill. This it was like literally marbles. It was an odd kind of rock. It's kind of surprising. I just thought it was going to be some sand there, but I had to kind of give it the gas there because it wasn't getting any traction on it. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I never had any issues the whole day today, so I was really excited about that. But just going through here, you can hear the branches hit me quite a bit there. Again, it's just really tight on here. It's just either really tight or whooped out quite a bit. And the other piece is myself along with everyone else, we're always riding the edge of the track to try to find some type of smoothness because the middle is just terrible. And this track just gets wider and wider and wider as the day goes. So here I'm clear off here to the left. It just keeps going to the left as the day goes on. Yeah, there isn't just a whole lot you can do on this.
Oh, man.
A lot of complaining on my end. Yeah, this is a real bad section here. It's really rough and got a lot of whoops in it to boot. So here, kind of take a far right. Again, that stuff is super deep. It's a sprite. It's not really deep, but as soon as you get in it, you just sink. So try to stay out of any wetness on this track for whatever reason. Just checking to see if there's any more people there behind me. This stuff is just, it's painful. It's painful to even watch on this video. Now we're getting a good sandy section here. That left route, it's a little bit better. It's a lot less bumpy. Now you're just in some soft sand, so you can go ahead and give it some gas, but then we're right back into this nasty stuff. This track, we'd be clear over to the left on the close to the other set of trees here by the end of the race here. Everyone's just trying to hunt, but this whole section, I think, was even just, it was all whipped out no matter where you went. So all you can do is just keep after it and try to make headway and not, try not to get too sore. You don't want to get arm pump in this area, and you don't want to, stick the front end and go over. Hug that tree pretty tight. Yeah, one thing about it, as deep as this sand is, there's like no issues with traction whatsoever. You don't really gotta worry about getting stuck. There are a couple of some loose spots, but most of it's pretty pretty firm. It's got enough gravel in it where it's not really a traction issue. It's just terrible bumps. Yeah, so we're kind of getting back up. This track is laid out. It does a bunch of switchbacks, so you can see there just to the left, we're coming around there, so there's a lot of spots where you're double and triple back, and so it made for a pretty decent sized track, which was nice, but oftentimes here you got somebody coming at you the other way, and it's kind of hard to, for me to remember where I was at. I didn't know if is this the one I'm coming up to the finish line, or is it the next one? So you just got to keep after it. kind of lost as I was going through there. Yeah, there was another tight section there. Just got to watch out for the trees, and you're into these really deep whoops again. A little bit of a straight section here on some hard ground. Here's a big, this is a super steep hill. It's starting here straight down. It's not bad. You just got to watch out, make sure you're lined up going through those trees, and it's not an issue whatsoever, but you don't want to come off there and get sideways or something. You'll end up in one of those trees. There's not much stopping on that one. There's a couple of them like that. That's a couple of the downhills that you see are just really like drop-offs. But no issues. I didn't see anybody have any issues either. So here's another one. We're going to hang way off to the left, get around that water. This one's an easy one. That one didn't get bad. Most people just kept off to the left and stayed out of the water, so it just kept it where it was at. But this right here was just terrible. So I just went in there. I stuck the front bumper. You can hear the engine rev up a little bit. That one right there, it was almost impassable. You just could not get through it. It just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then the more water got sucked in there and spread in other areas, it just got bigger and bigger. And finally, we started going off to the left. There's a big log over there you had to get over, but you just can't go through the water on this course. It's something else. It's not just mud. I don't know what it is. I always just kind of references as quicksand. I know that's not it, but that's what it acts like. Back there, 2 years ago when I raced this thing, I was going through an area and a guy in front of me stopped, and I had to it was just moist ground. I just stopped and was waiting for him to go, and while I was sitting there, the darn bike sunk up to the frame. I had to get a guy to help pull me out, and I was just sitting there. Yeah, I'm doing everything I can here. Again, I'm not the best of shape and the most talented, but you could stand up, you could sit down, you could lean back. There's just nothing you can do on those things. They're too big and too deep to do much. But again, sometimes I think hopefully we'll see some of these fast guys go ripping around me. I think eventually there was a little delay on the start. Especially seeing that accident. I think there was a couple of them there, so the pros will end up coming by here, I think, before the end of this first lap, and maybe we'll get a chance to see them go through the whoops. I can't remember, but they just fly through this stuff, and I couldn't even hang on the bike at that kind of speed. But let's go through here, some more tight stuff. Going to take a little shortcut through here. I think this might avoid a whoop. Anytime you can avoid one whoop, that's a plus on this track. So this section here, if you look off to the right, there's another path, but right there's that water section. I came through here on lap 2. There's a guy stuck on the track that I just took on, so I went around the outside in just that little bit of water, which looks like a splash. Man, I just hit that and just on with the gas to get through there. If he was out there with a ruler, it was probably an inch deep, but by the time you sunk in that sand, it was really deep stuff. So one of those things I felt lucky to get through. Yeah, a lot of this area, it's just, again, we're switching, doubling back and switching over the same type of spot, so a lot of it even looks the same. It's either tight or whoops. That's really the name of the game here. It's just trying to make as much headway as possible. But yeah, it's you get done with the day, boy, you are definitely wore out. A little bit more water. This section right here, after a while, this was another one. We was way up to the left over those logs by the time we get going. This section here, you just had to get with it. It was deep. There's no other where to go, so you just try to to plow through it, but it just got worse and worse as the day went. Just circling back here, a couple of really tight spots here. Open up here a little bit, but this is just, again, these really deep ruts. Or, whoops, excuse me. Here again, off to the left, trying to find anything that might resemble some smoothness. But it'd be really good if it wasn't for the whoops. This thing was, you know, you could really rail on some of this stuff, but man, it's just terrible. A little bit of a reprieve here. Back into a real sandy section here. See, that guy there's having a little bit of fits, but he's doing a better job at it as I am. Yeah, so I'm not sure if this is... there's a motocross track on this one. I'm not sure if this is it. In fact, I think it is now that I'm looking at it. So there's a few jumps, but no one's taking them there. For one, everyone's cross-country racing, so this one here wasn't so bad. You know, you could have taken that. At least it's got a you know, a little bit of a tabletop to it there. I didn't take any jumps. I didn't see anybody jump all day. There's one on here they put in. It's it doesn't have a tabletop. You launch off, and it's I don't know. It's got to be a good 30 feet before you hit the next one, and man, you'd really have to be having that thing timed in order to hit it. Otherwise, you'd be really taking a risk. I think everyone was just rolling that one. So let's see. I think it's this one. Is it this one here? No, it's not that one. But yeah, definitely on the motocross track. But this thing is just really terrible. I'm sure some of the pros, if you were watching, they probably took a couple of these ones. Especially if you knew what you were doing, some of these ones there wouldn't be too bad. But this is my first lap, so I don't know what to expect, and I'm not going to send it anyway. Having a heck of a time just getting through the stuff with these whoops, let alone try to do anything else. Hanging off to the left here, mowing down some of these weeds over here. Kind of getting back up around the parking lot area here, somewhere I believe, a little bit of a flat spot. Yeah, actually I think that was just a lucky flat spot. I thought I was getting up around the parking lot, but I don't see any signs of that. I think that was just a lucky spot. I'm trying the far right side, see if I'm having any better luck. But you can see how wide this is. If you look clear off to the left, I mean, it just goes. Everyone's just trying to do anything they can to find something. So here's a pro hill. Just kind of looking at it. I looked at this thing. It didn't look bad. But I never seen, the whole time, I never seen anybody go up, but I talked to a few people and they didn't go up the darn thing, so I don't know what it was. If it was that big of a deal, it wasn't that big of a deal. Watching it, it seemed like if I would have went up there, I could have avoided a lot more of these whoops, but I just kept it this way here. This one isn't so bad. It's got a few whoops, and right here section, actually it lines out pretty good. I think I actually catch third gear here in a minute, possibly. Yeah, look at this. I'm actually just rolling. Now we're back into some really tight stuff here. Yeah, this is just really a lot of small stuff. So, you know, if you hit something, it's not going to do too much, but it'll darn sure stop you. It's really tight corners right here. Yeah, not too bad. Now we're back out to a little bit of a straightaway here. It's fairly bumpy, but it's straight. Not too bad. You get a little bit of speed going. A couple of switchbacks here. You got to watch out some of these curves. They get really rutted really bad. I think that was one of the pro guys. Yeah, that was the first two coming around. Unfortunately, we're not going to see them go through the whoops because they're going to be gone. We just got this straightaway spot here, then I think I'll lose sight of them really quick. Really tight spot again, and we're back out. A little bit more of a straightaway. The hang to the right is a little rough right here. Yeah. You can go around here a little bit faster. I just wasn't sure. It's the first time I was down here. I didn't know what to expect. So now we're dropping back down here again. Getting back in the sand. Really tight spots right here. Starting to get some roots developing. Be careful. It's a little tricky spot here. Going up this little hill right here. You get a big ditch here and it gets really rough. And right here you got a big root section. Must be one of the pro riders are coming around again. Yeah, so this is one of these big jumps here. Everyone's trying to watch people, but you can see here, you gotta go from here all the way to there. That'd be a pretty big jump there to hit. Someone might have took it, I don't know. But keep an eye out for some jump videos. Thought you were gonna see me on that. I was so slow going over that, it wasn't funny. Yeah, as painful as it is, if you've gotten this far, this is what I feel like on a bike. I'm just like cussing underneath my breath the whole time. But I raced at this track one time. I knew what I was up against to start with. So I was having a good day regardless. I wasn't pushing it too hard. There wasn't much I can do on this thing. So I just came out to have some fun and really had a good day there. The bike ran good. The temperatures was nice. It was probably right at freezing when we took off, but the wind wasn't blowing too bad and the sun was out and the temperature was climbing. So it actually turned out to be, from a race day, it was pretty nice there. I had you can see I have my gauntlets on there. I just wasn't sure. My gloves that I wear are pretty lightweight, you know, as I think most are. So I wasn't sure if they were going to get cold. And so outside of my thumb freezing off here for the first half of the lap there, It was actually really nice out. I think a lot of it here, you're just so wore from these darn whoops and stuff like that. It really builds up some heat. This section here isn't too bad. This is one of these tight spots again. You get a lot of roots showing up into some of this sand section there as you go through here. Got to be careful going through. Yeah, a lot of these ruts and stuff like that, not so much here, but out in the sand, there's a lot of this stuff starts getting deep, and you know, there's a few people stuck here and there, but you just got to keep your speed up. Is all you can do on this stuff, and you got pretty good enough traction there. You got your speed up, you'll go right through. It's not so bad. Most of these sections, again, you don't get too deep of ruts because everyone's trying to take a different line to avoid the whoops, but here someone's taken off through the bushes a little bit, so I followed him. Stay out of that water. There's a guy jumping along there pretty good. If you can imagine doing that all day long, it's a lot of work. That was probably our one big uphill. It didn't look like much, but it was fairly steep. No issues whatsoever. It's good to give it a little bit of gas. Now we're on some switchbacks here again. Just some deep ruts right there. Not a big deal. We're going to head back into the woods in some tight sections right here. Some of these fast guys that are starting to come around here. Again, this is a really, really tight section. Making sure I don't get clipped by a tree here. This is what I wasn't sure. I thought I might have been coming out toward the finish line right here, and to kind of get out and take a look. No, this isn't it. But we are up there right by the finish line, but you can see we're going to be coming down just on the other side of the flags here in just a minute. This is one of the big switchbacks, but this is actually the right at the beginning of the starting line. I had to recognize this, so we're kind of, when we first took off, this is where we were going. So I know it's kind of a funky, a little bit longer first lap, I guess, because we're doing a lot of the track. We bypassed the starting line, so we took a little bit. The actual start was quite a bit of the race, and then we'll skip it going on. But here's this part here again. We're kind of going through this twice. I'm still on the first lap. We're going through this section twice. There's a fair amount of stuff here we're going to go through twice. Real bump right here. Again, try to pull a little wheelie going up this hill to miss that ditch on the other side of this thing. Lean back a little bit. I didn't do a very good job. Now we're circling back. Here's my truck again. Run up here on the right. And we're back into this really, really tight section right here. pick my way through this thing as best I can. So on the next lap, I took the inside on that one and actually caught that tree. I don't know if I didn't fit through there, was at the wrong angle or what. But I clipped that one and had to back up and take another run through it. But so here we are again, coming down this way. We were literally just right where those other quads were coming. We just literally went down that way. So again, big switchback right here. And we're getting really close. We drop down in this thing here again. Get through another really tight section, and we should be, if I'm not mistaken, I think we come up to the starting line. So right here is where we came the last time. We went to the left. The guy was flagging us, but yeah, now we're at the finish line, and we're finally done with this race. So if you made it this far, thank you, and yeah, hope to see you out here at one of these races. So take care.